All right. Hey, Darren.
We are live. I see us on Twitter.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
We are today. We're going to be going into GPTScript tools. So this has been what 3 weeks now, 2 weeks since we first introduced GPTScript, and we've been
3 weeks from yesterday. Yeah.
And this is our second live stream, and hopefully we'll do these every week or so for a while at least, as we're kind of rolling out new things. But today's focus is going to be on tools. Tools are kind of the heart of GPTScript. They're basically how you program, and the logic you use to define how you use them is what goes in the GPTScript. So maybe you can kick us off just by talking about the concept of tools, and then dive into what we've been working on.
Yeah. So if you can show, I got a diagram here. So this is like the basic of like, let me see, do I need to zoom in anymore? Or nah, that's probably good enough. So this is kind of like the basic of what GPTScript is like just GPTScript. The idea is you write a tool, and then tools can call other tools. And like the very key thing about tools calling other tools is like AI really decides when to call those tools and really like what are the arguments to the tool. And so it's like AI is not only just like kind of like understanding your question and giving a response to it, or whatever the action is you want, but it's also kind of deciding how like how the program flows through. And so like that's like kind of the heart of GPTScript. So like an example, let me just bring up my other terminal here. So in GPTScript, we have all these different examples, and I'll show you this one, which is super simple, just called time, which breaks it down into like the two different types of tools that we have. So the first one, this is just AI. It's like ask time, because that's the name of the tool. Ask time to get you the time in different time zones, or different time zones, sorry. So AI is basically going to randomly come up with some different time zones, and then it's going to invoke this tool. But you can see, so this tool here is actually written as a shell script, and you can do this in any language like Python, Node.js, whatever. And so basically, like these are the two different types of tools. So what happened, like once you write these tools, it's cool. Like I can create these tools call different tools and whatnot, but you kind of run into like the basic thing of like, well, once I have this tool, how do I kind of share and publish it with everyone else? And so like that's kind of the basic thing that we're showing today, is pretty much like, how do I build a tool and share and publish it with the rest of the world? And specifically, I wanted to go through a demo of kind of how do you do a code-based tool? Because AI is honestly, it's pretty simple because it's just like writing sentences and whatnot. But like, how do I actually like create the code-based thing? Because in this little diagram I have here, as you can see, it's like GPTScript is all these tools, but at some point you kind of want to talk to the real world, like all the existing like databases or systems or services or whatever. So you need this little bridge of like, how do I take the AI world and make it talk to the existing world? And so that's kind of the key thing of how do you plug AI into the rest of the world.
That makes sense. So you guys have built a whole ton of tools already, and you've got them out. Some of them are code-based tools, some of them are just AI tools. Do you want to kind of just highlight how people find those tools?
Yeah, so it's like, so what we've done is, so we created a site called tools.gptscript.ai. And so you can think of this like the inspiration for this is kind of like any developer language. You can find docs about the tools and whatnot. And so this is kind of the inspiration of this site. So it's like, well, I want to do image generation. How do I do image generation? So you're going to find this tool. And so the thing that's really funny is we started building this and we're like, well, we need to show like what are the arguments and all the, it's like all the details of the tools. And what we actually figured out is like the most useful thing is just the examples. It's like, how do you actually use the tool? Because once you see how to use it, like the arguments and whatnot are completely arbitrary because AI decides the arguments. So it's like, you can read this of like, well, here's the arguments it will take, but you're never actually going to write those. AI will actually write them. So basically, so you can find all the different tools that we've done here. Like if I search for just GPTScript AI, you'll basically, let's see. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, it did work. Sorry. It was just a little slow. you can find like, so these are some of the ones that we've written ourselves. And so, we're kind of like, we just released GPTScript a couple weeks ago. It's kind of like, we're discovering this as we're going along of like, we put this thing out there and it got good reception and it's pretty cool. And people have been trying it. And we've been kind of figuring out like, what are the good patterns and stuff. And so everything we're doing, we're just throwing up. It's all open source. It's in the GPTScript AI org. And so it's like, we're just slowly figuring out what's the best way to package these things and stuff. So we've tried different approaches of like, so like CSV reader, just like how you could just read some CS thing, a CSV file, like just query it with natural language or whatever. So we have like vision or image generation. Those are cool. Browser. This one is super awesome. Browser. This is like, you can actually control a web browser. And then, some other search. Oh, this one, like querying GitHub issues. So this one, let me see. Yeah, it's like this. I think there's more examples too. I don't know if they're all up here. Let me click here. If you go on here, you'll go to the website. No. So that's all the examples we have. Because I posted a video earlier today of Grant demoing how this one works, where like you can interact with GitHub with AI. There's a demo on Twitter about that. But so those are some of like the ones that like we've already created. But like, it's like how do you create one of these? How you get them up there, whatever. But,
so how does somebody post one?
So all you really need, like, so this is the cool thing, is to post one of these things. All you're going to do is, let me see if we got docs up or whatever. So we just released this feature basically today, like an hour before. I don't know if the docs are fully up yet. Yeah, so you can find docs up on the GPTScript doc site on kind of, this is the one I think you want, is authoring tools example. But basically it's going to come down to like, all you have to do, we'll look at, let's see, like image generation is kind of like simplest one. Is you need a tool.gpt, and this file is going to be like the definition of your tool. And you can see like, here's the description of the tool, and it's just going to invoke Python. Okay. And then you need the actual Python, like this is the code that's going to run. So, wrote some code, does some things or whatever. And then if you have any dependencies, this is going to be language specific. Like obviously Python, is like, you need to include whatever, like the metadata for the dependencies, like Python is requirements.txt. So this is going to pull in like these two libraries. So what we support right now, Python, Node, and Golang. And so it's like for each one of those, it's like, you need a package JSON for Node, you need a requirements text for Python, and you need a Go mod for Go. But it's like basically all three approaches, you like minimally just need 3 files. You just need a tool, the code itself, and then if you have any dependencies. So once you put those up there, like that's it. Like once you put it up there, then you can go to tools, GPTScript. And right now we don't have a way to add quite yet, but you can, if you just type that in, it will immediately find your repo. Like we'll add a button to add this or something like that. It'll find your repo and then index it. And so your tools are already up there. And so for anyone to like use your tool, so like here, this is this browser one. So what we'll do is we'll use this right now. Is we'll take this example here. Let me see. We need a copy button. And let me just make a directory here, demo foo.gptscript. Okay, so the cool thing is, so like I now, instead of for the tool, I just reference that URL, like github.com. Oh, and right now this actually only works on GitHub right now. Like it's all Git under the hood. Like we'll support anything that's on Git, but there's some little oddities of like, just right now it works on GitHub, but we'll add others. It's like, it's trivial. Like it's just, this is just the very first feature. But so when I go to use this tool, you can see like I'm referencing this URL, github.com, whatever. So you can assume like I have no dependencies or anything on the host. Actually, we'll do this. This is the fun of live demoing. I'm going to clear out my cache. So this is in theory, like it should just be running everything live as though it's the first time. So I'm going to run this. And so when you run this script, you can see, okay, it's trying to call this. It's fetching that repo, that specific commit. It actually downloads and installs Node for you. Oh yeah, you can see it's controlling this browser over here. This browser just popped up. So this is trying to find information about Coachella. But going back to here, so you can see it cloned the repo, it fetched the commit, it downloaded, installed Node, it ran npm for you, and then it launched it. So like we're doing all this. This is why like we specifically only support Python, Node, and Go right now, is because we're assuming like the end user who uses these like kind of like zero host dependencies. The only dependency we have right now is you need to have Git, the command line Git on your host. We'll remove that too. We're just too lazy that we didn't program that fully yet. But like, so it automatically would package and do it. So it's like, so this thing, the code, so this found a bunch of information about Coachella. But like if I go and I look at this browser or whatever, it's a pretty wieldy thing that's in here. It's like, it's got all these dependencies. It's, I don't know. I don't understand TypeScript at all, but like it's way too much stuff of like code and crap like that. So it's like, Daishan wrote this and so he put this all together. It's doing all these cool, crazy things, interacting with Chrome, but like as a user, I can use that tool and I just have no idea. Like it just does it. It just like downloads it and stuff. So it's like, this is like just so super cool to me because it's just like, it makes using these tools that are based in code just ridiculously easy. Yeah.
There's a couple of questions that came in. Someone asked about the location of the doc site. That's just docs.gptscript.ai. Sean asked, could you conceivably drive a local install of OpenFlow with this? My biggest challenge with OpenFlow is how steep the learning curve is, and this might solve that problem for me, I hope.
I'm guessing you could. I don't even know what OpenFlow is, to be honest. So OpenFlow, communication protocol. Whoa, I bet you can. So like the coolest thing is like if you have if there's a CLI for it where you can like give commands to the CLI, it's usually really easy to then just automate anything. But if you need to write some code or something to interact, because I don't know what it is, but you can do. So you should be able to. So like what I want to do for like this, like kind of the second half of this, and I'm trying to keep like, I don't want to go like super long on this live stream, is like kind of show you like the process of developing one of these. And I'm going to do it in TypeScript, and I suck at TypeScript. Like I don't know it at all. And we'll throw together one. I'll show you how I do it. Like, you know, it's kind of like as
it can only end well.
Well, yeah. Well, so this is the thing. It's like, I tried it. I tried it before, and I was mostly successful. So
we'll get a lot more viewers when you just keep failing over and over with something. Let's go.
Yeah. So should I just go into kind of like, so these are the demos that I love doing. I love doing like this, I don't know, stuff that just most likely won't even work. So what I wanted to do was, one of the things we've noticed is all of our demos and stuff, we a lot of times, we use SQLite for a lot of things. Like, so you can see this one here where it's like, download this file. Like I've used this example a lot and run this query, but like we use SQLite a lot because basically SQLite is so well known. There's so much content on the internet about it that AI just is a master at SQLite. And then SQLite is also just like an amazingly good database you can do. So what I wanted to do was, there's a hosted version of SQLite through a company called Terso. That's like, they just have an awesome, cool product. I just like the product. I played with it a little bit. So it was like, I can use AI to drive SQL or SQLite really easily. What if I wrote a tool that basically wrapped Terso? Because kind of the nature of the way Terso works is because it's a SQLite's client side, they kind of need custom libraries and whatnot. So it's like, what if I basically just wrote a tool and then I can just interact with it as easily as SQLite, but through AI? And we're going to do this a little bit gratuitously. Like there's actually a simpler approach with just using their CLI, but I'm like, no, let's write a real tool. Okay. So we're going to go through and kind of do this kind of soup to nuts, and we'll see how far we get. So basically, if we go to Terso, this will be like almost like, oh, no, oh my gosh, not Terso. It's Terso, whatever, terso.tech. I don't know. So if we go to their website, read our docs, we're going to go to their docs and we're going to go to their quick start. Okay. So I've already logged in. The quick start is like you need to do brew install to get their CLI, and then you need to do sign up. They have like the most amazing. I was really impressed with the sign up flow. But okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a database. So I'm going to create a database and then write a tool that like I just set like the database URL as an environment variable. So and then the tool will just interact with that database. But this database is going to be hosted out in the cloud or whatever. So for the purpose of this, I first need to create a database. So we'll just follow their examples here. I'm just going to call it demo. Let's see if this works. Like I tried this before and it's like your group has gone to sleep, and I had to go and turn the group on. So let's see if I go in. Yeah. Okay. So created the group. So if I go and I'll bring up the console here to their thing too, because it should show databases. Come on, Terso, don't fail me now. Okay, yeah, creating database. Okay, right. So, and I'm using like their free plan too. So this is kind of cool. So, okay, so yeah, so like I have a database. And so the idea here is if I go back to their docs, it's like all they want to be able to do is I want to be able to query their database. So if I go through their quick start, they've got, and I'm going to do it in TypeScript, as I said. So, okay. So in order to do this, following their docs here, it's like, I need the URL. So let me get the URL for this. It's called my database, or I called it demo. Okay. Okay. So that's the URL. So what we're going to do is we'll just set this as an environment variable, URL. Just call it URL. Okay. Okay, and then the next thing is I need a token. Okay, so I'm going to do a token, and I don't care. I'll put it on the screen here because I'm going to delete this database anyways. Create DB tokens. Create. Was it demo? Yeah, demon. That's even better. Okay, so then I'm going to take that and I'm going to export that as token. Okay. Okay, so now I have those two things set as an environment variable. So now if I go through their thing here. Basically, I need to use this client. That's the TypeScript code and whatever. So I tried this before. And so like the big flaw, because like I'm not a TypeScript developer. I don't like TypeScript at all. Or that actually, I think technically this is like JavaScript, the way it's written. It's not even TypeScript. But like I was like, oh, cool, this is how you use it. But I didn't even know how to create like a main file. so this is what I did this is so dumb. So what you can do is I create these dumb little wrappers around GPTScript. So like in ChatGPT, you can create assistants, and an assistant is like just like a prompt, and it's like it gives a persona. And so you can create these with GPTScript. And so this is JavaScript Jam. So well, I don't know if it's a girl or boy, but so we'll say it's a girl. So this was a developer. So basically I said, I'm a JavaScript developer. I write JavaScript only, and I will answer the question by writing files here. Okay. So I started off, and this is a cool little trick with GPTScript. It's like you can just do regular like hashbang syntax or whatever and invoke it like a shell script, right? So now I can just basically run this as though I'm talking to JavaScript Jam. And so here, so I first tried this where I said, write a JavaScript file to talk. We specifically want to let's try to make this a little better. So like write a JavaScript file that reads the env vars token URL and query and runs the query against a Terso database. Okay, so this was fun. So I tried this. This was just total shot in the dark. Like, what would it do? And it doesn't do it very well. So this is funny. I'll show you like kind of like the result of this. Give it a second. Nothing's terribly fast. Okay, so this created this file here. Okay, so it's like, cool, it wrote this code. it totally hallucinated this. Like, this does not exist. Like, I don't, yeah, this doesn't exist, right? So this was complete BS. So it's like, okay, well, that sucked. I didn't get anywhere with that. But it's like, this is the quick start. It tells you how to do it, right? So, so I just say like, oops. Well, first read that to understand the API. So this worked before. Let me see if we'll do it. Yeah, okay. So now it's going to download the, it's like, well, you just hallucinated that. Well, can you first like actually just look at the internet? And so normally ChatGPT has a search tool built in, so it just kind of does this anyways. But with GPTScript, it only has the tools that we give it available. So it can't just do random crap. So I had to specifically kind of tell it or do it or whatever. So let's see if this is any better. Okay. So, this one wrote, I don't know which one it wrote, because it wrote a second file here. We'll see. This is, yeah, this one looks right. So let me delete the other one. Jan query. Okay. So this one, this gets those environment variables. It creates a client. That looks good. It runs the query like that. Let's see how close that is to the actual code. It seems like a lot. Yeah, and then run query at the end here. Okay, cool. So, all right, so that's going to be my, so I'm going to take this file that Jan wrote for me, and I'm just going to call it tool.js. Okay, I don't need that folder anymore. So now, hopefully this works. I'm going back to their docs. I had to first install their thing. Okay. So I wanted to demo this because it's like, obviously we're creating a tool, but I also like the whole process of creating this. I was using AI, and I just thought it was super fun. It's like, because I don't know what I'm doing. So now I have this package JSON with this, and then I think if I run this, I ran into this before, where it's like I run it, it gives me this error. Wait. Oh no, it did. Cannot convert. Okay, that's because it's looking for the environment variable, right? Because I think it's probably this one. So I don't have a query. So I also need a query. So I have another, what did I call this one? This other one. Hold on. I created like another assistant because again, also I don't really, oh no, I don't have one. I can just ask General George. So General George is just my general. This guy, he just answers questions to things. Oh, this is a random thing. Like the reason why it says temperature in there is GPTScript by default is we kind of like, we want things to be reliable and more predictable because we tend to automate things. And so we put the temperature to 0 by default, which means like, give me the most reliable output, but you can increase the temperature between 0 to 1. And that gives you kind of more like creative random things. So when you're asking questions that are freeform like this, you kind of want more creative random answers. So you can ask it a couple times, they'll give you different answers. So I was just going to ask this guy, just basically like, how do I list databases or tables? Just see if we can get this work. Tables and SQLite. Okay. So this should tell me. Okay, yeah, there's the query. Select. Okay, so we're gonna see if this works. Export query. I don't know if that should be single quoted or whatnot. So I should have now, if I go back to this thing, so I have my environment variables I was expecting, right? And I run it. And it's still saying, does anyone know why? Cannot convert anonymous run query tool 23. Okay. Console result exec await client. I wonder if someone who knows JavaScript can tell me why that's null. Let's see. So there was one other thing. I'm just going to add this in there because I didn't understand this before when I was trying it. Is I ran into this issue where it's like, I think you had to say type module. see if that does anything. File extension contains typo. Use import instead. Okay, I wonder if that's, it doesn't like there's something here where it's like import. Let me go back to the examples. Maybe my AI generated code has failed me. You can see that why programmers will still have a job. Import create client from. Okay. Oh, I think that's what it is. Let's see. You're still giving me the same error. Can I convert undefined or null to object? Where's Vince when you need him? He knows this stuff. Okay, wait. Let me see if I can probably cheat. I might have. Where did I do this earlier? GPTs. Okay, I'm gonna cheat because I tried this before, and I got it working. Let's see what the difference was. Because this one says create client. Because this one actually works. We're going to copy and we're going to see how AI has failed me. AI working JS. Vimdiff working in run query away. Execute process. It's like practically the same. I wonder what the difference. Anyways, the working one. Let's try the working one here. Node. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. So there's some subtle difference between them, but whatever. AI failed us. It's I give up. Okay. So we're gonna move this now to tool. Okay. So now at this point. In theory, so now we have this tool. Like when I run this, it's going to read these environment variables. It's going to read those environment variables and execute some query. Okay. So in theory, this should work. So I have this tool now. Now I need to create the tool.gpt. So it's like I wrote the code. So I now have code that does something, but now I need like the AI interface. The tool.gpt. This is like now wrapping it in like an AI interface. So this is this basically runs a SQLite statement. What's called statement or I don't know, state
query.
I'll say it runs a SQL query against a SQLite database in Terso. Okay. And so notice like the descriptions are super important. Like the more descriptive you are, the better the AI understands what it is, because that's all it has to go off of. It's like the text of what you. And so the only thing I want here is I want an argument, which is the prompt. No, query. Sorry, query. And this will be the SQL statement to execute. Okay. And so now at this point, I need to invoke my code. So I'm going to do node. And it's called tool.js. Now there's one little trick here. This is important. You have to say GPTScript tool.dir. And the reason for that is like, what's the current working directory of the process? Kind of depends on where the user has invoked the command line from, not where the tool is. So this environment variable set of like, this is the directory where the tool, like this matters a lot once we start doing the packaging. Like if you're locally developing, you won't notice this, but as soon as you push it, you need to have this, okay? So in theory, so now I should have this tool, right? So let me create an examples directory here, and in examples, we are going to do, go in here and we will do, let's try this, like create DB, see if this works. Oops, GPT. So here, I want to reference the tool that I just created. So it's called tool.gpt. And so I have that tool available. Now I can just do whatever I want. So like create a create a table for users. Okay. I wonder, like you have to be careful when you're doing prompts where it's like, do you give it enough context of like, does it actually know to create the tool? Like, because I was going to say like, maybe I need to say in the database or in Terso and it would know, but I don't know. Like, let's see if it's smart enough. Okay, so if this works, then basically it says the table for users has been created. Let's see if it really did anything. So if we go to here, oops, we go to edit tables. It's spinning. Come on, come on. Let's see. Query, create tables. That really seems like it did something. I don't know, maybe this is just, oops. Oh, wait. No, it said, oh, yeah, here, it's here. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm on the table. Okay, sorry. I didn't realize that. Shannon, you can call me out if you see it.
So, I realized it right when you realized it.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't find it. This is a UX review for Terso of like idiot users like me. If you ever want someone to review your product, just like let me use it because I cannot, like I'm the worst. Anyways, so yeah, so created a table. All right, so created a table looks like ID, name, email, right? So then I can do something where now that I have that I can say we'll do like an add user, right? So again, we have to say tools and reference the tool so it knows what it is. And I'm going to say add a user named Darren. User named Darren to the database. Oops. Database with the email. Because I didn't tell it what's in the so it just hallucinated and just added name and email. Like obviously, if you want it to be specific, then you would have to specifically tell it. Like, but I wasn't, so it just created whatever it wanted. But we'll just go with that for now. Add a user named Darren to the database with the email Darren@acorn.io. Okay, so now there's one little trick here. Like we've realized, I mean, this is kind of obvious once you do this a couple times, is if I do that, it's like the AI is going to basically hallucinate. Because it's going to go like, okay, I need to add a user to the database. I know I have a database available. So it's just going to form a SQL statement and then run it. But who knows if that SQL statement is correct? So you really need to tell it, like first look up the database schema. And we've noticed too, like we're trying to make it so you don't have to do this, is like it works better if you say like do the following step by step. Okay. I don't think in this example I need that, but in general, it's kind of like we just kind of do it. It's like, okay, do the following. First, look up the database schema and add a username here. Okay, so let's see if this works. Yeah, so you can see it looked up the database schema and then it did that. It told me it did it. If we go here and refresh, yeah, so I got a data, right. So now
if you had told it to add a username Darren and you'd added with the Twitter handle, I build the cloud, would it have gone and would it have been able to change the schema, you think? And like if you said also update the schema?
I don't know.
You can also, feel free to update the schema if necessary.
Okay, so we'll do some Shannon magic. I don't know.
Yes, Shannon magic, my favorite.
So tool.gpt again. Okay, add a user. We'll call Shannon.
Yeah.
To the database with the handle, Twitter handle SNW355. So I mean, just tell it like if there's do you want me to try run like because it's not going to modify it's not going to modify the schema if I don't tell it like so. I'll have to
tell it like feel free to modify the schema as necessary or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I'll try that. Okay.
If necessary, modify the schema.
If necessary, modify the schema. Oh, but first let me do the other thing where it's like I follow because you'll see we're gonna add one more step on top of this, so you'll see that like we can kind of get rid of this first step where I say, okay, sorry,
First read
do the following. The other thing that's great about AI is that it does really well with typos.
Yeah.
Step by step. Okay, look up the database schema. Oh my gosh. And this must be so obnoxious listening to my loud keyboard. Okay.
It's such a loud keyboard.
What?
You know, they make keyboards that aren't so loud.
But I wouldn't be very cool if I used
I'm sure someone could recommend one.
There's just no.
My sanity.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it did it.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did it.
Go back, let me see.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is too much fun. See, this is. Well, oh, wait, no. Why is it? Hold on. Maybe it needs to. No. I bet you. Because I saw it. It did the. No. Wait. Oh, no. Not null. Oh, there's a not null constraint. Oh, it failed. It failed. I need to give it an email because when we created.
Oh, it wouldn't handle it if it didn't have my email.
Yeah. Add user Shannon to the database. Email Shannon. Sorry, I'm blasting out email to the world. Let's see. Oh, but and it's already there, so this should be. Oh yeah, because like last time I just didn't even look. So like, let's see. No, but where'd the table go? Because it modified it before. Insert users, values. I swear, this is like lying to me. This thing has got to be lying to me. Because like, how could that?
Or do we have to blame GPTScript?
No.
You're sure it's there?
I'm lying. Like, how could, because that query is completely right. Insert username email into.
It should be Twitter, not email. It should be Twitter handle. Yeah.
Yeah. So it should be there. Maybe this, like, it might be. Oops.
Did you crash Terso?
Oh, no.
This nice ad for how cool Terso is, and now you're gonna break it.
I know. No. Okay, wait. Okay. I mean, in their defense, I'm using like their free tier or whatever. So yeah. Okay.
It did work.
Yeah. See.
Oh my god! I can do this. I'm telling you, I can do this.
I know you're going to be a programmer soon. Okay.
I can just randomly add concepts, like just put in another.
Yeah, bro. This is so great. Like now, all the stupid things you asked me to do, you're like, I just typed.
It never would work when I'd ask for Shannon Magic, and now it's working. All right, there's a question from Side Geeks on YouTube. He said, "Is it possible to bundle multiple tools in a single GitHub repository? Is it simple as appending them one after the other in the tools.gpt, or there are other ways?"
Yeah. Let me go over that. So there's a bunch of different ways as like you get into kind of more advanced patterns, whatever. So
and people who have questions or comments, file them, put them up there.
Yeah.
We'll at least stick around for another 10, 15 minutes to answer them.
So if like the browser, let me see. Let me find a decent. Yeah, browser is a good one. Okay, so browser. Here's an example. So there's different things where it's like browser. The idea is because this is getting more advanced. Like there's a bunch of like more advanced. So it's like browser is quite complicated. You actually need to give AI a series of tools. So when I use this, like, and I go back to the examples here, like the Coachella one was the one. The user just puts that. And they're just like, I just want this one tool. But under the hood, it's not actually one tool. It's a series. It's a collection of tools. It's kind of like a tool set, right? And so as the tool developer, what Daishan did here is he actually created all of these tools that are running in. Oh, wow. This one is actually, there's a super advanced way we haven't really documented where you can actually run daemons. It will launch a daemon and you can have so it's like you can share some state it's too complicated to explain right now. But like anyways, but so you can have multiple tools in here and then you can like export them. So when AI uses that one tool, it's actually getting a collection of tools. So that's one approach. You can do that. So that's kind of like, it's almost like an inner class or a private thing. You can create those and they can use. So you can put a bunch of them like that. Another approach, like so we have here is search. Where search, we couldn't create like just one generic search tool because it's tied to the search provider. So we had to have like, so if I go back to the tools here and we look for search, you'll see we have like search Bing, search Google. We also have Bing image, Google image. Okay. So each one of these tools is in a different directory here. And so there's, depending on the language and how the language works, like how you structure the code is a little, might be, it's not super difficult or anything, but like this technically has like one code base. Because let me see, I'll go into like Bing here. If you look at like the main, all the main is doing is just using a common library. But it packages each as like its own binary. Like Go's a little harder to do than Python and JavaScript for creating tools. But yeah, so you can put multiple tools in a repo. You can combine tools. You can have, so I'll show you this other one. Like this is really cool. So you can see like how this like ecosystem can like flourish real quick. It's like we have this tool called Question Answerer, and what this is like, it's an engineer named this, so it's brilliantly named.
Obviously,
yeah. So the tool is like search is just like give me a like the search tool is like here's a query, give me the result. But that's not really what a human kind of wants. Is they really want you to more like research. Like I give you this query, find the top 10 results, and then for those results, follow those links, summarize the result, give me a consolidated, right? So that's what this thing does in this question answer tool. Let me see. I haven't actually, right. So this has like kind of that logic where it's like, it uses this tool, but so the cool thing here is you can see like this tool is pure AI, like it's just written with AI. There's no code in it. But this tool you can reference by just saying, GPTScript, question answer, or Brave. But this then references the search tool, which is in a different repo. So like when you clone this tool, it then finds that other tool in the other repo and it downloads, and like everything is done through Git commits, and it's like it will eventually be secure. Like anyone running GPTScript, like realize you're running random scripts, and you're letting AI do things. So who knows? But like eventually this we're putting in all the sandboxing technology to really make this secure. But basically, so yeah, it's like it's cool. Like so it's completely free form. And the other thing, like I'll point out too, is like you call it tool.gpt. That's purely a convention of like if I look at like what I could do here is in my script. Whatever. Oops. This is like a convention where it's like if you put basically a directory, it's going to assume you meant tool GPT. So like it just looks pretty. That's why we did it. It looks pretty. But you technically can just say like blah whatever blah. You can just point to some file just randomly, and yeah. So, like, if you want to, you can just do that. You can just point to a file you have hosted on GitHub or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So, any other?
Lots of different ways to package up all these different types of tools into apps. I mean, and so as these become more easy, I'm just trying to imagine how quickly I can combine these things into something. So I have the SQL writing, reading, modifying databases, plus the search. I can trigger that. I can build a file that goes, searches for information, writes it to a database, does it on a regular basis. So my Hacker News example that just kind of pulls the top 10 Hacker News articles from the day could write that information to a database and then perform analytics against it. And pulling these tools together is the whole idea behind the scripting. You should basically kind of say what tools you need and then let the AI fill in all the logic. I mean, you kind of define the logic in the script and let the AI go execute it.
Yeah. So there's a comment here that says it reminds me of Unix pipelining, and it's like this is what kind of like I kind of a Unix diehard. I loved Unix philosophy and whatnot, and this is what got me excited when I started realizing like this kind of concept I could do with AI with like tools and function calling and stuff. Is like it's about like taking these small, simple units and then combining them into something bigger and more powerful. So it is like in shell scripting, you can take like simple things like cat and grep and sed, and then write these crazy shell scripts that do all this stuff. So this is like shell scripting for AI. I can create these small little utilities and stuff and attach them together. And so, it's like I think we've like yet to discover kind of all the cool things we can do with this. Like we we're really just learning as we're going. But it's like it seems like this is just going to get so ridiculously powerful. Like once we just keep stacking on the layers of like, I have this already, and then suddenly it's super cool.
So. We only get comments that come in on YouTube. We're using StreamYard for this, but we get the YouTube and the LinkedIn one. So I don't see anything coming in on Twitter. If you want to check there before we bail.
Oh yeah. So I wonder. I don't even know how that works. Let me see if.
Should get like someone younger to do this for us who knows how to use the internet.
I know. I'm always done whenever I post these. Okay, so the very last thing I want to do, and then I think we can wrap up with. I just wanted to publish this, just so you see it.
Yeah.
Like so you can actually see it up on the internet. So like I
can actually use it with my magic now.
Yeah, like you can use you can see your Shannon magic. Okay, so yeah, we'll keep the Shannon magic there. So now, like the things I've created, so I have examples, node modules, blah 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 blah. So now I just need to create a Git repo and push it out. Okay, we're gonna call this. We'll move this to being called Terso demo. Oops. And before let me. I have full stack Fanny. That's my full stack developer assistant. Create a standard git ignore file. The reason why I'm asking the full stack developer one is because like the definition of this one is like you like Next.js and Tailwind and stuff, and so it knows all the JavaScript stuff. So I'm assuming if I ask that one to create a git ignore file, it will have some good stuff in it. Yeah, that looks good enough. Okay, so let me take my git ignore there and delete that directory. Git init. So I have to create the git repo, git status. That looks good. We're just gonna add everything. Git commit. YOLO. GH repo create. So we're gonna create a repo in GitHub. Push an existing one. Yep, that one. Terso demo there. Description. Magic. Public. Yeah, blah, 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 so many things. Yes. Okay, so in theory now, so if I say gh browse, this should be up on the internet now. Yep, so this is up on the internet. I didn't add a README. That would have been cool, but I didn't. So I should be able to go over to the tool site here. Yeah, so now this is up here. You can see it, blah, blah, blah. The examples, we've got Shannon Magic in there. Yeah, and then so now if I wanted to use that, like, so my examples I had before of like, well, this will probably fail because I'm doing it a second time. So I'm curious what will happen. GitHub.com, I build the cloud Terso. Well, here. So nice to meet you. You just copy this. Okay, so when I do this, GPTScript, Shannon Magic, so you can see, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so it's cloning that repo, it's doing NPM and stuff.
It failed because I already exist.
Yeah, so it worked, yeah. I mean, it failed because it already exists. I'm sure if I put a statement in there of like, whatever, don't add them if you need it, or there's some other things you can do for error handling. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'm not even, that's interesting. Oh, okay. Anyways, the tool, I don't think, it's just printing the error. It's not actually like exiting with an error code. But anyways, those are regular debugging things.
And I'm assuming DJ asked, can't you just use a GPT script to do all the Git stuff, Git Gus, and create a GPT script that just does creating Gits and doing Git ignores and packaging all these things up there? I suppose you probably could, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really do a good job of being short. We're still at 50 minutes, but.
I like Matt's last question there. It says, do you really build the cloud? And I just like to share the story that when I got the Twitter handle and I got the domain, ibuildthecloud.com, like one day before we shut down our cloud product I was working on, like eons ago when I first met Shannon or whatever. We were working on a
Like
cloud.
GoDaddy?
And I'm like, I'm gonna get iBuild the cloud, and it was like that week we're shutting the product down, and it's like I do not build the cloud.
I feel like we've built a few clouds over the years.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren. Thanks everyone for coming. We're going to post this up on YouTube if you want to watch it again. Yeah, awesome. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye.